Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Welcome back to the channel. We're live with our QPR v Swansea watch-along. I don't know why I have that on. Hang on, give me a second. Let me sort that out. Why is it not changed? Everything goes wrong in this stream, honestly. And you sharp as well, dog. Who we got in the chat? We've got QPR Ryan. Hello, mate. Hopefully you're having a good day. Right, Ryan, ITZYEBOIDB, I'm very sad that Steve's leaving, but he has done good stuff for the club and a good lineup today with Poku and Burrell and Adamson starting. We'll get into that in a second. Very different lineup as you can see, or as everyone should have seen when the lineups got announced. We'll get into it in a second. I'm just trying to get the Sky app to work, but Sky's not working for some reason. Do you see that he has been offered a coaching role? Yeah, he's been offered a coaching role, but it depends if he accepts it. Because if he does, you got to remember he's basically gonna retire. He is. We have got some food because I haven't eaten all day. I've just come back from work, so I've been pretty busy. So hopefully you're okay with that. But yeah, Steve Cook obviously could be his last game today. You never know. For the club, but for what obviously is going on in the club at the moment with 2 games to go after this one, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays again, to be honest. What are you doing? Look, go over there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes after, obviously, instead of the coaching role. But yeah, we're gonna be live today. QPR v Swansea live at the Matchday Stadium. The teams are this. So it's either 4-2-3-1 or we're 4-4-2. Joe Walsh in goal, Adamson, Cook, Edwards and Davis all at the back with Poku, Hayden, Morgan and Vale in midfield. And a bit of a change up front with Burrell and Colley both starting for the first time up front. On the bench, Ben Hamer and Bengay, Tylon Smith, Esquidina, Madsen, Varane, Iliasher, Smith and Richard Kone on the bench. A very big surprise there with Richard Kone on the bench. I did shout it out on the preview show and after the Millwall game on what I would want to see, and he's delivered, to be honest, with obviously who's up front. Whether that's to do with it's because of the end of the season or it's a midweek game and he's starting to realise players need rest, I'm not too sure. But that's the team for QPR. For Swansea, Vigorox in goal with Parker, Cabango, Burgers and Timon at the back. Franco and Fulton in midfield with Pereira, Widwell, Walter and Ida up front. So yeah, very big change. A very different centre back we saw last season as well with Ronnie and Steve Cook. Adamson gets the game on the wing back, and we actually get to see Burrell and Colley together. So very big change. We'll get to see what happens today, whether it's going to be good or bad. But apart from that, how are we all in the stream? Hopefully everyone's having a good day. Who is in here? We've got Robert early tuning in. Long overdue, he says. A lot more pace in this team, QB Ryan says. He is good as a coach for younger players. He could be a centre back if Steve Bold finally decides to leave. I'm not too sure. So yeah. But kickoffs are in about 10 minutes. Like I said, I haven't eaten today, so I'm gonna eat this burger that I have in my hand. So sorry about that. He's finally realized Kone is, oh god, here we go. Prediction, DB Ryan says, I'm gonna go over 2-0 win for QPR. I am. Put your predictions in the chat. What you think is gonna happen? I don't know who else is in the chat at the moment. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button if you can. It does help the stream a lot, and it will push out my content a bit more. So if you can, it is free. If you can hit that like button, it does help a lot. Thank you much. we got 11 viewers at the moment. A bit early, obviously. Well, obviously, I'm not going to expect that many people on a Tuesday evening. But it has happened before, a lot of viewers on a Tuesday evening, so a bit weird. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. 3-2, Harvey saying, Ryan saying 3-1, Robert saying 3-1. So very different lineup means a big confidence in our fan base at the moment. So yeah. Great minds think alike. Well, who do you think the goal scorers are going to be? That's the question. Who do you think the goal scorers are going to be? You think next season Morrison will start? Well, hopefully he does, but I don't know what's going to happen to him. You know, because at the moment, the only reason... See, the thing is, the reason why he got sent on loan is because of first team football. So, if we get rid of Clark Salter, I wouldn't be surprised if he does come and start. Ryan says Burrell, Bell and Collie. Okay. 3 of our top stars. I reckon Kone's going to score, you know. I reckon Kone's going to score. We are live on Twitch as well. People, we are live on Twitch. Oh. Dembele's injured. Dembele's been injured since January. Well, before that even. Burrell injured his ACL. Right. Oh man. Jeez. I think I will score 3 goals. When you say, oh, you mean Harvey Vale? You mean Harvey Vale, yeah? Right, teams are coming out. Hey, oh shit. Hey, Football, how are you, mate? Sorry, I didn't see your chat there. Hopefully you're having a good evening. Mate, Wendy's is alright, you know. So much better than McDonald's. Right. Let's switch scene as the game's about to kick off in about 3 minutes. Right. Did I mention who's on the bench? I did, yeah. Elias Share's on the bench. What a poor turnout in the ground. Mate, it's a Tuesday night. I'm not surprised. It's a Tuesday night. It's the end of the season. People are probably thinking that there's not really much to play for, and I don't blame them. But don't get me wrong, I get what you mean. You know, if you're a fan and you've bought a season ticket, you'd expect them to at least turn up. I get that, but some people just finish late at work on a Tuesday. That's the horrible truth of life, you know? Nothing to play for, that's why. Yeah, that's it. It's actually pretty much. All we could do is win games. Then, well, win the next last couple of games. I'm playing FC26. It's Cookie's last home game. We have a home game next week, don't we? On Saturday. Don't we? We have another home game. Unless Cookie has said that he's not going to be playing. Well, he's going to be captain tonight, so that says something, to be honest. You know, there's certain players for Swansea that we've got to watch out for. In Ida, he's really good. Up front, he killed it for Celtic last season. Train strike. Ken Wheeler says train strike. Oh, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about any train strike, unfortunately. Oh, I gotta start the clock. Jeez. Right, we're about to kick off in the next second. I didn't know about it, to be honest, about any train strike, so yeah. If anyone knows anything about this referee, let me know, please, because I don't really know much about him. And Swansea have kicked it off. And yeah, it's going to be a 4-4-2, it looks like. Don't see it being anything else, to be honest. But Swansea on the ball. Let's have a look at the chats for. I'm saying 3-0 Zach saying Brown Collie goals tonight. Swansea being poor. We've been better. But they're watching it tonight, so I'll chat less, but comment yours. No, Zach. Thank you for tuning in anyway, and get involved in the chat. H.O. Cook was a good player for us and was a key part in our survival. 100%. Listen, look, he's been brilliant, but unfortunately this season he's not hit the ground running like he usually does. You know, he's an influential player to our young lot, quite a bit, and he's also, you know, done well since January, you know, but you know, when it comes down to contracts and stuff like that, you know, like, you can't just keep having a player that's not playing, that's on 20-25 grand a week, you know? It's not good business, you know? Especially at the age of 30, whatever he is, 32, what is it, 35? I don't know. But hopefully, you know, he has a bit of fan base, well, quite a bit more than a bit of a fan base at QPR, you know, and if he does become a coach at QPR, happy days to him. That gives you a good understanding of what he wants to be and what he wants to do and how much he loves the club. So big shout outs to him for sure, and big shout outs to the QPR backroom people that are in talks for that. Adamson's just giving it away to Swansea on the halfway line. Chipped it into the middle, and Swansea are in here, and it's 1-0. And it's Cook and Davis that make the mistake. Wow. Great start. Great start. I don't know what Cook and Davis were doing there. Not a great start to ending his career at Loftus Road. That was appalling defending. What are these two doing? Honestly, what are these two doing? What are we doing? And this sums up our season. It sums up our season. No communication at the back. No communication with the... And do you know what? Uh, I will say this, and a lot of people are gonna really go on about, oh, well, see, like Walsh. This is what I'm gonna say right now, and this is what I've been saying all season. There's a difference why I prefer Nardi to Joe Walsh, and that is the fact being that he talks. Nardi does. Joe Walsh seems to not talk. I'm not saying that's Walsh's fault, but what I will say is we gotta be defending a lot better. You know, when, like I keep saying, if our defense are making mistakes like that, what is Walsh supposed to do? You know, Nardi might have saved that, but the problem is our defense is a letdown on that one. All right, Swansea into the middle. All right, Hayden on the ball, makes a mistake again, but clears it just in time. What a rubbish bit of defending, Cook, and should have done better. I hope you're all good, DB. I'm good, Paul. I'm good. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, it's terrible, man. Honestly, absolutely terrible defending there. You know, and listen, look, it's pretty much sums up this season's defending. It really does. You know, I could lay off Cook tonight. I could, and just because obviously there's not much we can do this season, but it's something that we've been seeing with Cook all season. It's just not great defending. You know, look, whether it has to do with his injury problems, whether it has to do with confidence, or you know, just age wise, you know, I can't just blame Cook on that one. It's also Davis, them both not communicating. But as a captain for tonight, Steve Cook, he's got to be doing better than that for sure. You know, I can lay off of him, but when you give him mistakes like that, that sums up our season all the way. You know, mistakes from the back, 100%. Kieran Morgan to Collie. Collie's done well there to keep the ball into the middle to Hayden, and then out to Ronnie. Ronnie goes out wide. And Adamson's lost it, and I can probably see why Adamson hasn't been playing now all season. I don't know if anyone saw it on Twitter, but someone actually posted something about next season's team, what they want to see. Now, usually they only post it because of players that were linked, and I saw a player on there called Jordan James on there, who's on loan from Rennes, playing for Leicester at the moment. I'm a bit surprised that he's put that in there. Whether he's heard that there's been a link with Jordan James because of Julian, I'm not too sure, but we can't afford James 100%. We can't afford him. On loan maybe, but that's if Rennes get rid of him. Rob says, don't panic. But I'm happy to see Collie and Brell start together. I am too as well. What a surprise. We are down 1-0 already. Who said 3-1? Someone said 3-1. The Monkey Bates Ronald actually scored for once. I guess you're a Swansea man. Ronald not been scoring that much. Alright, Swansea playing the ball from the back at the moment. Oh man, I might have to give me a second, people. Give me a second. Oh, it's hot. It's hot in the room. It's hot in the room. Um, any good to see you again. Anyway, good to see you again, DB. No worries, Pete. Cheers, man, for tuning in. Much love. Robert says, why isn't he playing Amadou and Menge? Because Adamson's on. Probably give it. Look, you've got 2 home games left. 2 home games, right? And everyone knows the deal with QPR. If we're not going anywhere, if we're safe from relegation and we're not going anywhere, and we've beaten the point difference from last season, it's the last 3 games of the season. They're going to give everyone an opportunity now to play, you know? Clearly, Adamson, he wants Adamson to have a game. The next home game, we're probably going to see Tyler Smith play. You know, it's one of them things. You know, everyone knows QPR at the end of the season what they do. I wouldn't be surprised in the last game at home, the last away game of the season. I would not be surprised if we put a development squad out. You know, as soon as that season ends, 100% everyone's going on holiday. You know, long season, long hard season to be honest. But yeah, we've already indicated who's going up with one team already, Coventry. I'm looking at it right now and I can see why he hasn't been playing, to be honest. You know, if this is what we're seeing. I know it's one game. I'm not going to judge him over one game, but the things I'm seeing right now from Adamson is not looking great. You know, Swansea got more possession than us, to be honest. Oh, I thought you meant Adamson. Sorry. You mean Amadou and Benge. Look, Amadou and Benge can defend, but he can't attack on the wing on the right. And you know, the only way I can see that fixing is if he pushes Amadou into the middle and gets Kieran Morgan or Hayden to push up. That's the only thing I can think of it. But Robert says he's a solid defender. Yeah, I agree. Amadou, look, Amadou's my favourite player. He is. Quality side. Oh, Swansea made a mistake here. Vale on the ball. Made a mistake. Still on the ball though, Morgan. To Poku. Poku. Oh, it's unlucky there. No man on there from anyone. Poku on the ball still. Gives it to Kieran Morgan. Back into the middle to Ronnie Edwards. They've pushed up high. Into the middle to Cook. Ah, oh, it's a terrible, terrible touch there by Poku in the middle there. Alright, Swansea played it back. Oh, it's a free kick to Swansea. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Robert. I've been saying it pretty much all season, you know. I love Amadou. I think he's a cracking centre-back. And I think he'll do so well next season at centre-back. And Burrell! Oh, it's a bad touch by Burrell. Collie shoots. Oh, he just missed it. Oh, he just missed it. Well, it's good, looking good for these two up front at the moment. It's looking good. Burrell with a bad touch there. Poku been training with Kone. Look, I get it, it's a bad touch, but you gotta remember, man, these guys look nervous at the moment. Kieran Morgan. Right, it's cleared away. Oh, Davis has got it back brilliantly. Into middle to Collie. Collie goes back. Not a great movement at all. Right, gives it to Ronnie Edwards. Mistakes there done by Kieran Morgan. Alright, Swansea on the run on the wing. Davis just couldn't chase it in time. It's a header by Swansea and it's gone out wide. Corner actually, jeez, it's a corner. So I think what is great about this season is that he has learned, Julian, from what he needs to do for the new season. You know, whether that's seeing, you know, if Joe Walsh is capable of next season, do we need to upgrade our defense? Do we need to sell what player we need to do in to fit in Julian's system? The attack, is it good enough? Is the creativity good enough for what he wants to see? You know, so this is why I've enjoyed seeing him this season. You know, he's done okay, a lot better than Marty in my opinion. Anyone that wants to question that, cool, but honestly, I see a lot better. I watch these games week in, week out, and yeah, cool. Some of the games have not been our best, but I have seen a big difference in the way we attack this season than we did last season. So yeah, the league is only going to get a lot more competitive. So yeah. No, should we keep Davis? I'm not too sure, I'll be honest with you. He's not really impressed me that much to be a good left back for the system that Julian plays. Burrell unlucky there. How amazing is it to see Burrell back, man? Honestly, what a player! What a player! I think this is the third time Kone's been on the bench. Alright, it's a goal kick for Swansea. David, how do you think Lincoln will do in the championship? I'll be honest, I haven't really followed Lincoln this season. Usually I follow a couple of I followed Leighton Orient last season because of Charlie Kelman. But I'll be honest, I've not really followed any EFL teams below us. I've been more focused on QPR this season. But I would say Lincoln are looking strong in League One for sure. They look like, looking at stat wise, look really interesting. But I think when it comes down to the championship, you don't have to spend big, but you need to buy the right physicality and experience and mix that in with young players. You know, I think in the championship you always need that one-star man, for sure, and you need experience, whether that's in the back or in the midfield. But the most important thing is your style of play. You know, are you going to keep to the simple championship way of kicking a ball all the way up the field, over the top, or are you going to basically play it in a way where Brendan Rodgers brought Swansea as a very impressive possession side team? You know, a very beautiful game, as I call it. Jose, welcome to chat. Vamos QPR. You spelled that wrong, to be honest, mate. So yeah, maybe you want to check that out. Maybe use a dictionary. I don't know. Kieran Morgan on the ball, but yeah, I think I agree with Robert, man. Davis has not been impressive whatsoever this season. Completely. You know, Lincoln wise though, yeah, I think they, depending on, look, I'm not gonna say anything much about Lincoln because they need to have a good transfer window to actually be within a good chance. Also, I think we need a new left back next season. Don't think he's been that bad. Look, I think with left back, I think we all know who we want, and I know who I want at left back, and that is Harry Amas. I've been saying it for 2 seasons. You know, he's not being used at Man United. You know, Sheffield Wednesday somehow was able to get hold of him because Man United were helping him out with, obviously, the wages for the players. But yeah, I personally think Harry Amas suits this role. I think he's young. He can grow if we get him on a free. Absolutely brilliant. We're going to invest in him. I think he's quality. Yeah, I think he'll do really well at QPR. I think, you know, there's a lot of talent in the Premier League that doesn't get used in the top clubs that we could snatch up in the summer for sure. So yeah. If this is a 1-0 loss, I will be fuming. I'll be honest, I'm not really fussed. Listen, look, a lot of people are going to hate me for saying it because obviously it's QPR still, you know, you should still be winning. It's the end of the season, and, you know, if we get hammered, then yeah, I'll be pissed off. But 1-0 losses and stuff like that, look, I just want to get the season over with, and we start again next season and go from there. And The thing is, look, if we end up starting bad again next season, like what we did with Marty, then I would agree with Robert for once. I would say, okay, cool, it's time to possibly go. You know, it's time for a different approach with a head coach. You know, but that it all depends on what happens. I believe in Julian. I think he will do well next season. And yeah, so, but I have to be honest, you know, just because I know Robert's gonna probably say something next season for sure. But yeah, I have to be honest. You know, I will agree with Robert. In a sense, if it fucks up at the start, like I usually give it till end of October. If it's really bad and we're in the bottom half of the 15th by October, then you know it's fucking gone. It's that simple. Coventry are beating Portsmouth 1-0. Sorry, Alfie, I missed your chat there. I will go 4-3 and put Conan, Burrell, and Smith up front. Is in next season or tonight? Amir, Norrington was alright. I think you're being a bit harsh, DB. I also don't think he should stay, but he's done a solid average job. Look, at the start of the season, he killed it. You know, he was brilliant. I liked him at the start of the season when he came in because we needed experience and he did the job. But since our bad form, I feel like he's had really bad form, but then since January, I would say he's been 50-50. You know, he's had good times and bad times, but all I'm saying is that I don't think he's shown enough effort to basically sign him, if that makes sense. You know, I'm not saying he's shit. I'm just letting you know, I'm not saying he's shit. I'm just saying he hasn't really shown me anything why we would buy him in the summer, you know. He's on the ball right now, actually. He passes it back to Hayden. Tonight, Alfie's saying. It's a bad ball there by Kieran Morgan. Yeah, most players like Steve Cook, I would say, you know, and some others in there have had the same type of season as Davis, to be honest. You know? Alright, Davis ain't going to keep that in over the top by Cook. Sometimes, I mean, you got to be a little bit harsh on certain players, you know. Sometimes you got to get a reaction out of them. I'll be honest, I just don't think he suits Julian's playing style. I'll be honest. I think the way Julian plays, he wants fast-paced wing-backs. Kieran Morgan could have controlled that a lot better, in my opinion. Davis just let it go, mate. Yep, throw in QPR. Where's my phone? What's that? Right, so 20 minutes gone, and it's still 1-0. Would you change the midfield for tonight's game? What you say would I put, as in like the substitutions right now, like as in later on, or like in the sense of the midfield that we have at the moment? Would I have used that midfield tonight? You know, look, Hayden's great. Kieran Morgan, Kieran Morgan just needs more experience and more game time, I think. You know, he showed a great game last season. You know, he's been up and down this season. I wouldn't say he's been the best, but, you know, he's had good games and he's had bad games, you know. But I feel like he just needs experience and time to be at the club. We got no pressure in the midfield. It's because there's no creativity. It's 4-4-2. You know, we're using two different types of players. We're using a holding midfielder and a box-to-box midfielder. You know, or technically, we're actually using two defensive midfielders if you want to go by Kieran Morgan's natural position. So yeah, personally, I would say you're not going to have any decent creativity apart from the wings on them. And that's why you miss Madsen, because Madsen and Varane, when they were on the field, you had Varane, who was a defensive midfielder, and Madsen as the box-to-box creator. So yeah. Av says, would you use this midfield or change it, and with who? So if it was me, like I think right now, you know, everyone knows I'd prefer 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. If we use, like you said, three in the midfield, it's got to be Kieran Morgan, Madsen and Varane for sure. But for some reason, these guys can't work together. All three of them, every time they're together, they're really bad. For some reason. For me, if it was down to me, I would have kept Sam Field and let Kieran Morgan go out on loan. But you know, when it comes down to player's choice, Julian has his certain players that he thinks suits the system better. Wham, evening DB, hope you are well. Bit late getting home from work. How are we playing? It's not been great, to be honest, mate. Wham, it's been a bit of a letdown. We're down 1-0 already from a mistake from Davis and Cook, but we have had two attacking opportunities. Not great though. Kieran Morgan's on the ball right now and he's actually lost it. So yeah. But hopefully you're having a good evening. Robert says, I think the right back has had enough experience time for a sub. Yeah, listen, look, we all know why he's playing, Robert. The simple thing is, it's the end of the season and he's giving him game time. I was very confused when there were certain players that were bringing in that have not been. Oh, it's a good ball in. Keeper's got it though. Yeah, I didn't know much about Adamson, but for what I was told by some Australians, that he's an up and coming right back who looks very interesting. But personally, I would say I've not really, you know, he's done well on the development side. He has, but first team wise and on the bench, nothing exciting, I would say. Just saw a message. Just like young boy. Julian likes young boy. Man, don't make it sound like that. That's bad. Julian likes bringing up young talent because he believes that. Oh! Sorry, that didn't sound great. That's fuck's sake. QPR had an opportunity there. Listen, look. I think personally, you know, I think he likes bringing up young talent. It's that simple, you know. He proved it with Rennes, what he did. Look, he had one of the best wingers, and when I say best wingers, I mean best wingers. At PSG, you know, who went to PSG and has killed it, you know. And I honestly think if anyone deserves a Ballon d'Or, it's either him, Adu, or Lamau, or Harry Kane. You know, Salah maybe at a push, but you know, you got to kind of be honest with yourself and see what these players can do. So yeah, and also depending on what the World Cup says, and obviously going with trophies and from there. So yeah. Like, there's a lot of young talent we have. A very lot of good young talent, to be honest. He'd probably make a sub with Adamson soon. Look, he's not been very impressive. Let's be honest on that one. I know it's at the end of the season, nothing to really play for, but we don't seem to be really going for it. Just play safe ball. Paul, it's no surprise. I'll be honest, it's no surprise. We're playing 4-4-2. We're playing the same way as we did against Swansea when we played them at theirs. You know, that's what Julian's doing at the moment. If that's what he thinks suits them, is counter-attacking football, and waiting patiently, then cool. Poku's gone down here, for fuck's sake. He's holding his hamstring. And this is why I've been saying it for the lot. He's God's sake. I've been saying this, right, for how long? How long have I been saying this season? I've said this, do not play him. For fuck's sake. Now it looks serious. So he was, look, it looked like he was holding his hamstring, but I don't know if because he did get hit in the head. I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping it's not serious. But That is like why you don't play Poku at the moment. Straight away in the game. I'm hoping it's because he's just holding his. He's holding like yeah, he's coming off. I'm hoping he's just concussed. I'm hoping he's just concussed. Poku's coming off. Paul Smith's coming on. Let's have a look. What's gonna happen? Well, I'm hoping that it's not his. I'm hoping it's not his hamstring. If I see him hold his hamstring in a second, I'm gonna be. That's on Julian. Cheers, Wham. Much love. Damn boy says Poku. Look, I'm hoping Poku's alright. Look, I like Poku. I think he's a cracking talent, but if that is his fucking hamstring, I'm gonna go nuts. I swear to God, I am. Alright, so corner anyway. Keeper saves it. Paul Smith's on anyway. Replacing Poku. So we'll see what happens here. Robert's favourite player. But yeah, I'm pretty annoyed with that. I'm hoping that it's just a head injury. I'm hoping it's just a head injury. Like, I'll be honest. If that was a head injury, I'll be honest. I'm sure he would have been fine. Something's telling me it's a hamstring injury. Oh, HW says, Copy Swans, thank you for tuning in. Mate, hope you're having a good evening. I was surprised to see Poku start again. Thought he would have been on the bench. I would have loved it for him to be on the bench. You know, he played against Millwall. You know, in a game like this. Oh, Robert's favourite player is Amadou. Joe Walsh, comfortable save. Right, we're playing stupid ball now. Amir, well, he came off. I don't know if it's an injury or just a concussion, because he did get a knock to the head when we was attacking, when Hayden shot the ball. But I'll be honest, knock to head shouldn't be that bad, because it didn't look that bad from where I was sitting. He was touching his hamstring. He was when he was down, but yeah, I'm hoping it's not serious. We're not gonna hear it. If look, I'll say this right now: if he's not on the bench on Saturday or even on the field, I'm telling you right now, it's probably gonna end up being his hamstrings gone, and that's when serious questions are gonna be marked, because we won't hear anything about it for about till the start of next season. Right, we're on the ball anyway right now. Burrell on the ball, crosses it. It's going to be a goal kick to Swansea. Burrell doing unlucky business there. Looks like we're just going long balls for Burrell tonight. Have you heard of it about summer transfer window, David? Sorry, DB. Wham said, only the two stories at the moment with Harry Amas with a left back and that free agent from the Dutch team. They both look, I know about Harry Amas, don't really know about the Dutch left back, but I saw a couple of videos of him. He looks very interesting. Looks like a bit of a player like Kenneth Powell. He does. So yeah, looks like a leader as well. Not a guy to be messed about with. He looks like he likes to get into tackles and challenges. So yeah, we'll see what happens. They're both free agents, but yeah, apart from that, nothing else. Look, I'll tell you this, there's not going to be much talk about any interest yet in certain things. All there will be is, like, obviously, you will see that, like, we've signed someone from Tottenham's academy on a free. Kieran Morgan shot there just over the bar. Yeah, we're only going to get development side players in for now, at the start, and then once the window opens, then we'll start be planning on free agents, and then it goes from, if we need anything, then we'll probably buy players from there. You know, I haven't seen who's available on a free transfer. Yeah, I might have to have a look soon, but yeah. Davis on the ball. He's giving it away to Swansea. And here they go on the ball. Oh, Franco's gone down here and the TV's paused. Great. Don't know what's going on. Something's happened here. Sky have fucked up. Come on, Sky. What are we doing today, man? Honestly. Alright, we're on the ball now anyway. Alright, Cook on the ball, on the run. Out wide to Davis. Davis goes into the middle of a bad pass to Collie. And Swansea got it back. And it's booted away. Would you have started Escudina today? Yeah, I would have. Look, if we're going to go start playing youngsters, we might as well have. You know, I'm not going to lie. Escudina's been pretty okay the last couple of times he's played, you know. He even played alright when he got injured that day. I think we should focus on how our players keep getting injured and preventing that instead of buying a new player. I agree. I mean, I agree. Look, I've been saying it for 2 seasons, to be honest. I don't know why. I don't know why we're sitting here today even talking about, like, fuck, Poku's gone again, you know, type of thing. You know, it's stupid. You know, I don't get it. You know, we need to get, I honestly think we need to get a better regime going, you know. Apparently we have the best fitness guys in the world, but even, look, I'm not even gonna lie, right? And I don't like talking shit about people, but this guy who we just got back from, who went to America for the basketball team, they had the worst injury list in God knows how long when they had him, and then he come back here and we had like another injury hit list. So that, in my opinion, we're either working them too hard or we need to have regimes for players that have serious injury issues, you know. Esquire looks alright tonight, to be fair. He ain't playing at the moment. Westhoff Pete says, do you think it will be about? Listen, look, Dembele to me is a good little player. You know, he proved him. Not, I wouldn't say he proved himself at Celtic, but I'll tell you this, right? Because the only person that I can really, you know, say all I could really say is this. I can only talk about Dembele to certain people because obviously he played for Celtic. You know, Tellboy, who comes in there quite a bit, obviously knows about Dembele a lot more than all of us. You know, we know he's had good seasons in the Championship. We know he's an exciting young talent. But the thing is, at Celtic, he was an injury prone. You know, so when you're an injury prone, it becomes a problem. Now, the guy's had 2 ACL injuries in 2 seasons. And it's not a good look. When you have an ACL injury, you're pretty much done with. It's that simple. ACLs are the worst, and you know the only way you come back from them is literally by not playing as much as you're meant to. DB, are you in favour of leaving Loftus Road for a new stadium? That's a good question, Amir. That's a very good question. listen, I love Loftus Road. I think the ground is amazing. I think the way you're over the top of the the pitch, as you're so close to it, it helps a lot. But we do need a new stadium. We do. Look, if we can fill it, look, I wouldn't say we need a new stadium right now, but the problem is in the future we're gonna need a new stadium one day. You know, look, if we can't fill bums in seats at 18,000, there's no point of moving to a new stadium or building a new stadium or whatever. You know, what we need to focus on more with what I've been saying is creating a good squad. Oh, Joe Walsh, what are we doing? What are we doing, Joe Walsh? This is a fondle today. Yeah, I would say this. Look, when we can start putting seats in bums and having a full out attendance like we used to, then cool. I would be like, alright, depending on where it's going to be. But the problem is, Joe Walsh, oh my god, what the fuck? Right, Joe Walsh is just being an idiot now. Fucking hell. I swear to god, where's Nardi? Yeah, I would say this. There's nowhere in West London at the moment that can build a stadium apart from Linford Christie or Wentworth Scrubs. That's what we need. It's the only way we're going to build a stadium in West London. Unless if everyone is happy to move somewhere a bit further out of West London, then cool. But the only place I can see us going is Wentworth Scrubs or Linford Christie or whatever you want to call it. You know, I don't see any other place unless you want to go out of like the areas of towards Hayes, Uxbridge and places like that. So yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. But I'll be honest, we should not even be thinking about a new stadium right now. We need to think about building a squad to get into the Premier League and staying in there first until we can actually sit there and say, you know what, we need a 40,000 stadium now. We're in the Europa League shit and all of that. So yeah, Walsh did get lucky, Paul. Walsh did get lucky. Crypto says first sign of the season needs to be a keeper. 100%. Well, it depends. Look, if we keep Nardi, I don't think we can keep Nardi. You know, he's on strike apparently. Is what I got told. Oh, sorry about that, people. But yeah, apparently Nardi's on strike. I don't know what's happened. You know, he's definitely gonna end up leaving leaving at the end of the season. I'm actually very confused because this is the thing, right? If Nardi was a money signing, I reckon Julian would have been out by now. If it was the fact being that Julian was having issues with him, which I don't know exactly, but yeah, it sounds like it could have been a similar thing with Marty and Madsen possibly. So yeah. But a goalkeeper, yeah, we do need. Look, I would say Murphy Cooper. We need to see how he does in pre-season. We need to give him an opportunity. If we don't, then yeah, we need a new keeper for sure. There's only one keeper or a couple of keepers that I'd be interested in. Pulsive crosses it in. It's not a great cross. Look, I really like Johansson from Stoke. I think he's brilliant. You know, he's proven it season by season. I think that should be a key signing for us. So yeah, I'm not sure Hamza Cancel will allow building on the scrub, so if it happens, it will most likely to be Linford. Look, if whatever happens or organises it, it needs to be sorted out. You know, a lot of people thought at the start of the season where Christian Nuri was appointed to be in a council role to help, but everyone thought that was because of stadium and stuff like that. I'll be honest, I don't know what that was to do with. I know QPR help a lot in the community, and it could have been to do with that mostly as well. Whoever thought Walsh is better than Nardi needs to go and have a brain check. He is so poor. He's had a appalling start at the moment in this game. Joe Walsh has. He's had an atrocious start. Everyone knows how much I like Nardi, so yeah, no, not Cooper. It's going to be the same thing as Walsh this season. Just spend money. Listen, look, we could spend money, but you got to remember we have to sell players first as well. I don't think. Look, I get that people have seen the Eze sale and stuff like that, but you got to remember, Look at how much Kone was. Look how much Sato was. Look how much Ronnie was. That's a lot of money. You know, we got to make some sales. I know Frey's gone. Sellers probably going to end up going at the end of the season. So yeah, we need to make some money. And if they have to use a keeper to grow, then cool. That's what they got to do. But Murphy Cooper, to me, he's had a terrific season with Barnsley. He's had a terrific season. Well, I know Sheffield Wednesday haven't been brilliant, but apparently people do like him at Sheffield Wednesday. Can't have Cooper as out for... Look, I'm not saying Cooper first choice, but we need to see what he's like in pre-season before we make any rash decisions. You know, that's what pre-season's for, to see what we can do with the side and go from there. Jimmy out again does look a bit concerning. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Jimmy Dunn. Nothing's been said about an... Someone said that he had a knock on something, but I'm not too sure. But hopefully he's alright. Hopefully nothing's too serious. But yeah, we can't move DB Ellisley forever. Listen, look, you know, I don't want to move, but tell me, look, you can't build onto the stadium. You can't knock the stadium down and do anything with it. You know, you can't do anything with the stadium. So what are you gonna do? Sell Sato, Crypto says, why do you want Sato to go? How come you want Sato to go? I don't know if it's a free kick to Swansea in the penalty box. I think there's going to be subs at half time. I will be honest about that. I'm not gonna lie, I had the week off last week and coming back to work this week, oh my god, I'm drained already, man. Look, Robert, I'm not gonna lie to you, right? I said this already at the start. You know, if Robert, you've been with us at the start of the season, so you know exactly what I've said about Sato. You know, I agree with you. He's not physicality. He's not built for the championship, but he's a cracking little player if you put him in the middle. In my opinion, you play him in the middle, he's a different type of player. Well, I think you're right. I think you're right, DB. No point in moving if you can't feel in the ground. Look, it's a Tuesday night, and there's at least only 14,000 people in the stadium, maybe 13 at a push. You know, I remember the days when we weren't even making 18,000. I remember the days when I was going, we was only pulling in 10, 11,000 in the stadium until we got to the Premier League, or till Neil Warnock came in and it changed, you know. And that's how dedicated I know about the club, because I've had a season ticket since I was 11 years old, you know. So it's crazy to sit there and be like, I know this club so much. I've sat in lower loft. I know what happens. So yeah. Hi again, ITZYEBOIDB. If I'm pronouncing that right, I do apologize if I'm not. Hopefully you're having a good day. Hopefully you have a good evening. Are you a Swansea fan, QPR fan? Paul says Madsen needs to come on. Madsen definitely needs to come on for sure. I agree with that for sure. Ryan says Sato better than Dembele, Poku, so get rid of them first. I would say Sato is proven a better player than both for sure. I agree. Until we actually see Poku play and stay fit, I'm not going to say much on that one. But, you know, Dembele as well, like, we'll see what happens. I can't sit here and say and predict the future. All I can say to you guys is that let's wait and see what happens in the summer, you know, because look, Robert's cracks on it a lot where about a change of management. You know, we have different views and a lot of other people have different views in what I say, and it's understandable and it's great, but I will only agree with Robert when I actually see something. And if next season I see something, I will hold my hands up and go to Robert and say, you're right. I was wrong, you know. Right, that's half time anyway. Let's do this. So I don't know what's gonna happen with substitutions. We'll find out soon, and in the sense of basically what we see. I'm gonna read the rest of the comments out. It's a Swans fan from last time we played. Oh, right, when you was at home, yeah. Well, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. It says give Sato one more season to prove himself. If he's a bad again, then let him go. Wait, look, when you spend 3 million on a player, you can't just get rid of them straight away, man. You need to get profit out of it. It's that simple. Thank you for watching me, mate. I appreciate it. Robert says, can you see us in the Premier League with a stadium that holds 18,000? Yeah, we've done it before. We'll do it again. And I know other clubs that have, like, what? There has been other clubs in the Premier League that have had the same amount of seats as us. So yeah, but I would personally say, yeah, if we go Premier League, then we need to look thinking about branding and obviously looking at where we go from there if we stay up. So yeah, but right now there's no point of talks with a stadium until we get into the Premier League. So yeah, I think I remember you a little bit, mate. I think I remember you. Sup with Dave says keep Sato. Thank you for tuning in. Well, Robert say that to Bournemouth. Well, Bournemouth are a different club. When I was your age, we had 32,000 standing, so they are out there. But wasn't that the was that this ground or was that the White City Stadium? I think it was the White City Stadium, wasn't it? Say it's just being average at this level. We need someone with a bit of techers. Look, Crypt, I agree with you. Every club needs someone, as I call it, the Adeltorapt experience. You know, each team, since Adeltorapt, have had a decent player. You know, for me, when I started, obviously noticing certain players. You know, we've had Victor Moses for Palace, Wilfried Zaha. You know, Adeltorapt, Riyad Mahrez. You know, all of these players, right, have been sensational in the Championship. You know, but we haven't really seen anything apart from Chair, really, and maybe some others as well. So yeah, I think there's a chance Collie might leave. He's barely played, and when he did play, it was only because Burrell was injured. Amir says, look, there is a chance. Look, I'll be honest with you. I got told that there was a chance of him leaving in the summer. There was 2 clubs that were interested in him, and bids were rejected. He wanted to stay at QPR to see how it was going. Could I see him doing a Sinclair? 100%. I reckon he might leave, but if he does leave, good on him. I hope he does the best he can. He deserves to be at a club where he gets first team football, but I also want to see him succeed as well. He's a good young talent, and he's very confident and mature for his age, you know, and I hope he does well, and I hope he stays as well. But you know, I always praise good players, you know. What changes would you make, DB? Right now, I would say bring on Madsen. If they feel like he's fit enough, I would say take off Kieran Morgan for Madsen. Keep Hayden on for now. I would say Adamson needs to come off for Mbenge. I'd possibly put on Esquadina for Davis. Apart from that, that's really it. True that, Ryan Roberts says. Conan Burrell gonna be like York and Cole next season. Jeez, okay. Crypt, Loftus Road. Well, like I said, it was all cramped in, so I'm not too sure. I can't remember them days because I don't think I was born, to be honest. Collie will leave because Julian doesn't like him. What makes you think that? Because I think he does like him. I just think he has a certain type of player that he wants up front, and he's learning. Worms and Sutton come back from loan next season, or they're going to loan him out. I would love to see him be on the bench next season for QPR. Hopefully it happens, but listen, look, at the end of the day, he's only scored 1 goal for the team he's loaned out for. You know, he's a cracking little player. There is parts of, you know, I'm not going to say he's the next Eze, because there is parts of him that remind me of Eze, and there's parts of him that doesn't remind me of Eze. But some of these young players do need experience, and whether that's on loan or what, like what Eze did, and the reason why Eze was getting first team football and bench time was because of what he was doing at Wickham at a young age, and that's what we need to see from our young players that we send out on loan, and that is, are you going to perform? Are you going to score goals? Are you going to get ratings? Are you going to play first team football? You know, it's kind of them things there. H Football says, I want to sign a QPR. I do as well, H Football. I really do. I really like the player. But if he's not scoring goals week in and week out for a club that he's at the moment, or ratings or playing style or whatever, it's going to be difficult. Come on in, jump. Oh, jeez. You want to say hello? Is that what it is? You want to say hello? Oh, go on in. You say hello. Alright, cool. You don't say hello then. You want to go on the window sill? Come on, you lay down. Lay down. I hope we didn't spend too much on Salah, because I don't know if this is true, but I heard he's had 0 goals alone. It's probably because of mate, he hasn't played. That's why. If you look at his playing, do you know what? We'll look at him now. Look, Salah was 2 million. I know that. And the reason why, look, let's see how many games. Let me see how many games he's played for Dusseldorf at the moment. Let's have a look. So on loan with Dusseldorf. I'm just trying to see if I can get it up here. Striker wise, Salah. He's not even on here. On our centre backs. Salah. There he is, Salah. Why isn't it showing it? I just want to see his stats for this season. So he's had 16 appearances this season, no goals. So yeah, it's not looking good. Yeah. I reckon he will go. Oh shit. I reckon he will go. You know, I'm not saying anything. Look, I've known Salah since he was a young kid at Roma, and he was literally the talk of the town at the time. You know, there was big clubs after him. I don't know what's happened. He's fallen off quite a bit. But he did really well when he moved from Roma to I can't remember the club now that we bought him off of. But the reason why I bought him is because he scored goals in that league. Now, obviously, you know, I can't really say much what he's done, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do sell him. So yeah. But he was 2 million. I mean, he was 2 million. Salah is crap, not worth 2,000, let alone 2 million. Mickey says Salah hasn't scored since 2024, by the way. Yeah, I just checked that, mate. Thank you for letting me know, though. Thank you for tuning in as well. Heard Salah got into an argument with another player in the training match, as in this at QPR or at Dusseldorf. And they said, so why didn't we request to have him back if they didn't play him? That's where I said that I think he is gonna go, because if we're not even gonna help him to try and get a loan somewhere else, I think there's a reason why we haven't brought him back when we had injured players. I think it's also to do with the fact being that no club wanted him, you know, pretty much. Was Cardiff away the last time Salah scored? Well, he did score in pre-season. He scored 2 goals, I believe, in pre-season. One was a penalty, and one was a shot, a tap in from an assist. Can't remember who the assist was from. This season in Germany, Paul says. Like, if Salah goes, Salah goes. I'm not fussed, because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna cry about players that are not in my club right now. You know, kind of thing. You know, I rated Salah for a long time. I still do. If he's not doing too good, well, there's not much I can do about that. But yeah, apparently his attitude stinks. There is, look, I'm not gonna lie, there is some part of me that thinks that he has attitude like oh, what's his name, Richarlison. I think possibly there might be a problem there. Like, he might have an attitude childish problem, like if he's not playing or getting the ball, you know, maybe it's that. But I can't really say much. I don't know. I haven't heard much. All I know is that he's gone out on loan and going from there. Oh, I had a fallout with the staff in Dusseldorf. Yeah, it's not good, man. It's not a good look for him. It's not a good look. I don't think anyone will buy him. It'll be another loan. Well, we'll see what happens in the summer. Listen, look, I would love him to stay. I love him to prove everyone wrong. But yeah, I'll be honest. The way it looks, I wouldn't be surprised if something happens. So yeah. Robert said he thinks he's better than he is. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Listen, look, if I pulled up the stats, like I don't know if I can pull up the stats, but I'll see if I can. See, I might get in trouble for this. I don't know, because I don't really want to get banned. Where is there it is. Mate, he's still at the Jesus Christ, man. You know when you look at these games, when they put the camera on fans, right? And you look at them and you're like, Jesus Christ, I remember seeing that guy when I used to go. It's mad how they're still there. Right, okay, let me have a look at this quickly. Domestic leagues or competition. So I'll read them out. I'll read out Sellers' stats, right? So at 19 he was at Roma. He played one game, obviously, no goals. And then he went to Serie B. He played 10 games, started 7, scored 1 goal, 1 goal and assist or whatever it was. And then obviously he's been to other clubs. But the best season he's had is in Switzerland with Lugano. So in Switzerland with Lugano, he started killing it a lot more. So at the age of 22, 23, 24, when he was at Lugano, he scored 10 goals in 29 appearances. The next season after that, he scored 16 goals in 30 appearances. And then the season after that, he scored 14 goals in 36 appearances. He did. And then he came to Championship, played 19 games, and only got 2 goals. So, yeah. Look, that's the reason why we signed him, is because he did really well with Lugano. He did. So, yeah. Do you think we get playoffs next season? It was extended. Yeah, 100%. I've already said this. I think next season we get top 8. We get 5th to 8th, I reckon, next season. I honestly believe that. You know, let me have a look at the season, the transfer window we have. But yeah, I have faith in Julian. I think he's a manager that will get us up. So yeah. Robert says there aren't many stats to pull up. Well, yeah, there is. I've just pulled them up. What changes would you make at halftime, if any? Like I said, Madsen needs to come on for sure. But yeah, I think Madsen and Adamson. Madsen needs to come on. Adamson needs to come off for Amadou, and I think Esquadina, give him a run out, see how he does. So yeah. So he's just a one club wonder, Mickey says. Pretty much. Look. I'll say this, right. You know, as a youngster, he was really good in Roma's academy. He really was. I'll be honest, he really was. But I guess in Switzerland, even Frey proved it. And that's why we bought him Frey, because he was scoring goals in Switzerland. I'm guessing Switzerland is very easy to score goals. So yeah. I'm not going to repeat what Robert just said. Brian is gone. We aren't going to get playoffs with Julian in charge. Well, that's what you think. I can guarantee you this, right? Like I said this, right? I think Julian is the only head coach that we've had that looks like he would get us promoted since Neil Warnock. I saw we win the league since 2015. Do you think we get a draw or a win or a loss? I think this game is possibly going to be, the way we're playing right now, a loss. But you know what? We come out half time. I reckon maybe 3-1, 2-1. You never know. I agree with Robert Law. AB says, what, being mugged off by the Swiss? Oh man. Alright. Second half about to start. It looks like Davis is playing. Is Julian my dad? I wish. No, I'm joking. No, Julian, look, for me, look, if we are gonna be fans, right, and we're gonna go and sack every single manager that finishes below 10th or below 8th or below 6th or whatever we go on, right, then we might as well just relegate us right now. Honestly, you might as well give us a point deduction and put us in the National League. You know, at the end of the day, in football, this is what happens. I don't see any other team. I get it, I understand it, fans were frustrated, but at the end of the day, the reason why I honestly believe we've flopped so bad in the middle of the season is basically injuries. You know, because everyone loved Julian at the start of the season. Like, everyone loved Marty. Look, no one on this... When I did the watch-alongs, when Marty was in charge, not one person said to me, sack Marty Fuentes. Not one person said, get rid of him. And he did a worse job than what Julian has done. And the thing is, Julian was a lovable character. So, yeah. No one wanted Julian to... No one wanted Marty to go. But... the facts are there. No one wanted Marty to go when he finished 2 seasons in the same place and same points. So yeah. So do you think Marty would take us up? Marty, you mean Julian? I think Julian will take us up. I really do. I think Julian's the one to take us up. I see it. I don't know what it is about him, but I like the way he goes with his football. Clear it, Harvey. Well done. No subs. Bit surprised. I'm a bit surprised by the subs. Colley's gone down here with an injury. Need a busy summer and get rid of all the deadwood and we'll be fine. I agree. We have Swansea in the box. Oh my god, what the fuck have I just seen? We have a good foundation to build on, but player like Varane could save Joe Walsh. Hayden needs to go so we can bring him back. I get it. I understand. Look, we need to sell players, but I can't sit here and tell you which players we're going to sell because I like certain players. I think they're really good. I was surprised when Marty left. I wasn't. I already knew it. Look, let me tell you, look, with me, right? I stayed quiet about it because I didn't want people to get pissed off with me, right? I knew Marty was getting sacked when we lost against Stoke. I knew when we lost against Stoke away, I knew what happened. We fell off big time. We fell off. Something happened. We fell off so bad. And for me, I knew something was wrong at the club. When against Stoke, I knew something was wrong last season at the club. And I knew Marty was literally gone. Because when Marty came out in certain interviews, he didn't look happy. Even when the Burnley game proved the fact being, he probably literally said to the players or whatever's happened is that just go out there and play shit or something like that. You know, when we played against Burnley and lost 5-0 like that, you know, we're talking about we had an assistant that is probably a defensive coach and can't and let 5 goals in. It's like ridiculous. Come on. No, I meant when Marty was in charge, you didn't believe he was the one to take us up because you said the last manager you felt that was Warnock. So with Marty, right, when he came in, I felt he was good. I felt he was decent. But when he started the season off with his first full season in charge, there was things I didn't enjoy or like to see because it was the same thing constantly. You know, it was this, oh, we're going to play like, oh, Swansea in here and just missed. It was the same thing. Oh, we're going to play the same type of football as Johan Cruyff. I didn't see shit of what I saw on the pitch of Johan Cruyff. Look, I love Marty. I think Marty's a great character and I think he did well abroad. But I didn't have the same feeling as I do now with Julian. You know, I look. I'll sit here and say this, right? I didn't want Julian at the club at the start of the season. I wanted PSH. If no one knows who PSH is, go check him out. Honestly, I wanted PSH, but when Julian got linked, obviously I didn't want Forup, because Forup to me was just, look what he did with Norwich, in my opinion. He's just a guy that wants money to spend. It's that simple. But yeah. What would be? AB is right. Robert says. Demos says, "Common you ours." Thank you for tuning in. AB says, "I really want Jordan James, who's on Leicester. He was at Rennes with Stefan. Maybe we could do a swap deal with Varane." I don't think a swap deal will happen, but if we get him on loan, maybe. But Jordan James is too good, and his wage structure is too much as well. You know, he's probably getting about 20 grand at Rennes, I would say. Swansea on the ball, take a shot. Good save, Joe Walsh. Absolutely, actually a lot better than the first half, but it's been all Swansea in this second half at the moment. Burrell, oh, unlucky. Started second half like the first, rubbish, Paul says. I agree, but we're on the ball right now. We go out wide to Paul Smith. Done really well there, Paul Smith, actually. Paul Smith, foul, free kick, QPR, edge of the box. Amir says, "I was at the Burnley game. By the 70th minute, I was the only one in the in the block." Listen, look, I could tell you what. Look, I wouldn't say I got told, but I knew something happened at the club that was more than, you know, a lot of people. The way he was saying was that he wanted more money to spend for players. He wanted to change the regime of certain things to grow the club, but the club weren't confident with it. But I also heard that he had a little fickle with Madsen. You know, him and Madsen were kind of at each other's necks constantly. So yeah. Right, either Vale or Paul Smith to take the free kick. It's Vale. Oh, it's very close, very close. Unlucky. But yeah, like I said, I honestly have faith in Julian. Yeah, look, I'm not. Listen, look, you could be a guy that constantly wants a manager out, but I'm not gonna go on about a manager out unless I see something that deserves to be knocked out. You know, whether you rate QPR very highly or you rate QPR very lowly, for me, I look at a realistic proportion of the championship. You know, we're not a great club at the moment. We're still rebuilding. You know, and I think Julian, to bring in a manager like that, you know, under what the players that we have right now, we're still building around what Julian wants. You know, you can't really sack a manager, in my opinion, that finishes higher than last season, depending on what his objectives were. I don't think we're ready for the Premier League. It's that simple. You know, yes, it would be great to be constantly in the top 6, constantly, but we're not ready for the Premier League yet. We're so not ready. So yeah. It took 3 seasons for Almiron to build Sporting Lisbon up again. It did. That Burnley game had the worst feeling around the stadium I had ever experienced. I took a pic with Collie that day and he looked so pissed. Listen, every player was pissed. The only thing I can think of is they have either heard about the issue with Marty and didn't want him gone. But yeah. But I find it surprising that Ilias Sher comes out in every interview, every season, or even Jimmy Dunn, and goes on about pretty much the same thing constantly about, yeah, this man just seems a lot different and a lot better kind of thing, you know? Leicester are beating Hull 2-1 at the moment. Alright, we're on the ball at the moment with Ronnie Edwards. I think also we need to kind of have a discussion where what position do we want to see Ronnie Edwards in next season if he stays, you know? Is he going to be a centre back? Is he going to be a right back? Is he going to be a holding midfielder? Not too sure. That's a shit pass by Collie there. Yeah, the forward line. Oh, God's sake, Adamson is. Do you know what? Adamson's a very aggressive player. You know. Adamson with a yellow card, and he's wondering why he got a yellow card. I can tell you why. Because he literally just kicked the guy. What are we doing, Adamson, man? Come on. You've got to be better than that. There is one youngster that I want to see come off the bench. And that is... Well, I want him to be on the bench, firstly. Is that 16-year-old Colombian kid for QPR. A lot of exciting things people are saying about him. So, yeah. Yeah, do you know what, Ryan? I say this. I feel the same in the sense of Esquidina and Adamson have not really impressed me this season in the first team when they do make appearance. So yeah, what more aggressive than look? The thing is there's aggressive and there's no need for it. You know, Adamson, there was no need for that. Amadou and Benge, he will win the ball. My fucking voice is going, jeez. Collie should have done a better. Burrell would have been through. Yeah, that was a bad pass by Collie there. My voice is going, jeez. Wow. Sorry, people. I don't know what's happened. Oh, damn. That's crazy. Oh, man. Jeez, what is going on? I might have to call one of you in to do the commentary for me. Jeez. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button as well. It is free. It does help the channel and the content to get pushed out to more people. So all I ask you is just hit the like button. If much appreciation on that. Much love from you guys if you can. We usually hit a target of 20, which I set. If we're gonna hit 20 likes by the end of the stream, much love for you guys. Millwall winning 2-0. Jeez. Wait, hang on. Swansea are in here. Give me a second. Oh, clear it. Yeah, well done, Ronnie. Amir says, "Will you ever collab with the club?" Listen, I think that's something for the club. That's down to them with what they want to see. You got to remember, they're only gonna go with branded stuff. So, for example, there's a reason why I would say, people like Hoopsar and maybe some other people get the access that they're allowed to. I would love to collab with some of the players, do some things and stuff like that, but it's all about branding. You know, if you're, for example, if I sit here and say QPR shit and this and that, and go on aggressively about what the fuck is going on, you're not gonna get any decency from the club for that. You know, at the end of the day, it's the only way to say it is this, right? Troop said it again with Arsenal the other day. You know, there's a reason why he doesn't get branding is because obviously the way he is. Pretty much sums it up. It's not what he said exactly, but it's the truth in the fact being that there's certain people that have used Arsenal to get a brand going. You know, for example, when that young kid, Papanukunus or whatever his name is, I can't pronounce it, I'm really bad at it. You know, for what everything on Twitter happened with him, with going from supporting Arsenal, then saying about QPR, going to games with QPR, and then getting his mum to defend him about supporting Arsenal and never supporting QPR. You know, to me it's childish, but sometimes people will talk good about Arsenal and avoid the bad stuff just to get the brand going, if that makes sense. So yeah, But I would love to, like, look, but the problem is with me is I'm authentic, and I would only be myself. I don't want to be scripted. I don't want to be anything like that. If I go in there to have a discussion with Ilya Share, I'm not going in there to talk shit about him or whatever. But I do want to have a proper conversation, like I would in a pub with someone, or a brother, or the boys talking about football banter. That's how I am, you know. I'm not gonna sit there with a scripted sentence or whatever like that, you know. That's not me. So yeah, you know, I'm ready to step in. Probably will be taken off air. Listen, look, if subs are happening now, actually I'll talk about the subs. So Chair's coming on for Collie in the 60th minute. Madsen's coming off on, not off, coming on. Tylon Smith is coming on, and Kone's coming on. So we've seen Collie come off for Chair. Cook coming off. So everyone give a big W for Steve Cook, making his last, probably his last home game of the season. Big shouts to Steve Cook. Did I say Lee Cook? I mean Steve Cook. Big shouts to him. I think he deserves a big applause. Everyone put a W in the chat for Steve Cook. You never know, he might watch this later. You never know. But yeah, everyone give a big W to Steve Cook, man. Brilliant ambassador, I would say, for QPR. He's done terrific. Not the best season he's had, but we can't say he has not been great, you know. So yeah. Tylon Smith obviously on for Cook. Hayden coming on off, sorry, for Madsen, and Kone, Robert's favourite player, coming on for somebody else. I don't know who though. They haven't showed it. Burrell come off for Kone. So change of two strikers, a change of actually, I reckon, formation as well. So yeah. Let's have a look at the comments anyway where we went. You know, I'm ready to step in. Robert says probably will be taken off air. See some subs getting ready to come on. Paul says, to be honest, there was one video where Hoopsa went in on JS and he still got a collab after, so you never know, DB. Look, Hoopsa is very I don't know, I love Hoopsa, and I would never talk shit about him because I love him. Honestly, I think he's brilliant. You know, his videos are more not scripted, but he's very professional with his videos, which is great. I love it, you know. But when it comes down to on Twitter and stuff like that, I have seen the odd thing, what, you know, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration coming out. So when he does talk on, sometimes yeah, I agree, there's certain things he will say, and obviously, but when he does do his interviews, he's very pen and paper. He has his questions ready. For me, if I sit down or go around a pitch with a player, I'm the type of guy that wants to just have a normal chat, like what Gary Neville does on the overlap with when he does his walks in the park and stuff like that. That's how I would do it, because that's the only way that people want to see that interest in what they want to see. They don't want to see someone sitting down with what the club wants you to say, kind of thing, you know. I was signing an NDA or whatever it is, so I'm not allowed to ask certain questions. For example, if I was having an interview or talk with Ilya Share, I won't talk about any of his things that have happened in his obviously cases or whatever, because that's his personal business. So yeah, Paul says been a good player for us. Wham, message retracted. What happened, mate? AA, I don't know what that means. So free kick to QPR at the moment. Listen, look, I didn't say I like the guy. All I said was that's kind of what I was looking at, you know. I wasn't saying that I like the guy. Look, I think Gary Neville was an incredible right back. But yeah, I know a lot of people don't like him and all of that, but listen, look, I'm not going to get into that. I think my thoughts on Gary Neville are completely different to others, but yeah, I would say personally, there's a lot that Gary Neville has been successful in, and he's done really well. So yeah, Tylon Smith chasing for the ball, and I think it's going to be a corner to Swansea. Don't know what happened there. I missed that. I don't know what position Tylon Smith's playing actually, but it's actually good to see Tylon Smith on. kind of glad the camera hasn't gone off today. I say that and watch, it's gonna go off in a minute. Watch. Right, Swansea bringing in the height. You got Smith in there as well. I don't get it. Why don't people like Gary Neville? And I'm missing something. Oh, Danny Hernandez says, all right, I think we're getting trolled here. Joe Walsh comfortably with the save. It's because of what certain people do. Like, I'm not saying, oh, Kone's on here. Oh, now it's handball. Wow, really a bit late. This referee is bad. The referee is bad, and line is bad for that. Kone's going mad at the referee. You're taking too long. Look, I think Gary Neville's been great, you know. So yeah. Wham says Julian should be given the summer transfer and all of next season. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but he is making progress. I agree, Wham. I agree. You know, I really like this manager, head coach. Look, there's certain managers that QPR have had that I really have hated, you know, and there's certain managers that I really, really wanted to see succeed. And the two managers that I've wanted to see stay at QPR was Di Canio and Paulo Sousa. These two head coaches looked really good for QPR when they were doing their playing styles. But unfortunately with Paulo Sousa obviously needed players. And he didn't get on with Briatore or Bernie Eccleston because he wasn't allowed to spend money. So yeah, Paulo Sousa came out with that thing with what he did, and it went on from there. The one thing I can say is about QPR is QPR have always had good goalkeepers. So yeah, I say that and look at the moment. You know, if like I said, we've had Lee Camp, we've had Radic Cherney, who didn't really shoot off in the first season, but he did well afterwards. We've had Paddy Kenny. You know, we've had some good keepers. Joe Walsh almost making a mistake there. And Swansea on the ball. Swansea have made subs as well, by the way. Norwich 1-1 with Derby. Adam says Mark Warburton back to QPR. Listen, I like Mark Warburton, but I just felt like his playing style and his defensive abilities there was something wrong there. You know, he wasn't very great with defensive distribution. We had some good centre backs, but it wasn't great. Look, we won games, but we didn't have any clean sheets, you know, and it really kind of annoyed me. Alright, Swansea back on the ball. Kieran Morgan heading it away. Harvey Vale to Paul Smith, back to Vale. Oh, Chair, sorry. Madsen on the ball. Pushing on. It's a shit through ball to Paul Smith. Madsen knows that already. Frustration in him. Alright, Norwich are up 2-1 now. Davis on the ball to Paul Smith. Back to Davis. Davis losing it again. It's going to be a throw into QPR, I think. Derby at home next, people. It's going to be a very frustrating game yet again, I think. Ilya Share. I think, is that Paul Smith or Ilya Share? Paul Smith. Oh, he's bottled it. Paul Smith has bottled it. Robert says, mate, I'm sorry, I watch better football in the common. If this is the future, we are in trouble. I didn't say this was the future. This is right now what we're watching. The future can change. The future can change. I don't know what that's. Hendro, unfortunately, if that says to wrap, I'll be honest, I don't know what that says. You're doing the betting again. Okay, fair enough. Betting is what you love, I guess. No worries. Alright. Tylon Smith on the ball. Plays it back to Joe Walsh. I hope we don't get Aaron on the power. We won't. We won't. Listen, well, when you're linked, we're not gonna buy him because we're not gonna spend money. It's that simple on him. Oh, keep almost mistakes it there. Okay, well, fair enough. Alright, Joe Walsh rolls it out to Tylon Smith again. Did you not say it would be 1-0 to QPR? I did say it'd be 1-0 to QPR. I also said it might be 2-0 to QPR. I also said Celtic will win the Champions League this season, but that didn't happen. Kone? I didn't see where Kone was, to be honest, Robert. Alright, Paul Smith on the ball. Harvey Vale, chair, loses it. Not the greatest of passes, I would say. Alright, we're being putting a bit more pressure on Swansea now. Adamson, I don't get burked. I'm not feeling confident with this Adamson at the moment. Swansea getting past Middlesbrough. Madsen, not Middlesbrough. Whipped in. Tylon Smith clearing it. Mackenzie Lewis says, oh wait, hang on. Precisely. Mackenzie Lewis says, Sam Parker lives in my street. Used to be friends with him as a kid. Glad to see him playing professional now. Sam Parker. Is that the guy for Swansea? I'm guessing who you're on about. Alright, so free kick Swansea. Damn. Free kick in a nice position. I'm guessing you're not playing well. We're not playing brilliant tonight. We're not playing brilliant whatsoever. We're not. I would say first half was a bit of a shambles. The goal was obviously gifted to them from a player of ours, but the last 10 minutes, I would say, has been a bit better. So yeah, 19 years old from Cardiff. Don't see us scoring, to be honest. Think it will be a loss. Yeah, the likely chances are if we do score, then cool. Like I said, I'm not really fussed right now. You know, look, at the end of the day, we're not getting relegated. We're not getting promoted. You know, he's beaten the tally of the points of last season. Right. Fucking hell, he hammered that over the bar. Oh, here we go. Robert, who set Robert off? Who set Robert off? Do you know what? It'd be very funny, right? If you said Julian in next season. It'd be very funny, that, wouldn't it? How did you put 6 past Pompey? You guys look so poor. Because Pompey were poor on the day. Pompey were absolutely poor on the day. Look, the difference in this league, you need to understand. Oh, Joe Walsh, what you doing? The difference in this league, right, is that you have to be really a great side to be each week winning games and stuff like that. You know, I've look, I've seen clubs go from top of the league to the bottom, from bottom of the league to the top, just because the league changes constantly. Amir says, oh God's sake, Jizz. Good challenge there by Adamson. I'm actually surprised at that. 15 minutes to go anyway. I won my bet though against Zach. I did win my bet against Zach. I did say to Zach that we wouldn't get relegated, and he said we would. Yeah, Pompey are strange. Go and bat at Ipswich and Leicester for 90 minutes and lose to see. Exactly. I'm guessing it's Kieran. I love the Championship, and that's why next season I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on the Championship with this channel. I love the Championship. I think it's an amazing league. I think it's one of the best leagues in the world, my own opinion. I think it's very competitive, and it only gets better and better each season. It does. You know, a lot of people would say I'm delusional for saying it, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's one of the top 5 leagues in the world. Maybe top 6, I should say. But yeah. I just don't think the EFL gets a lot of recognition like it deserves. I know for the last 2 seasons it's getting a bit bigger in America now, the EFL are, because of the ownership of what Americans are doing with EFL clubs. But yeah. Burrell, I guess you say Burrell or Collie. It's not going to be Kone. I know it's not going to be Kone. Alright, Pulsive clears it. Yeah, that's Burrell. Burrell's quality, man. Burrell is brilliant, you know. Robert loves him. Robert loves Burrell. Robert also loves Kone, so yeah. Would you... Oh, wait, hang on. Swansea, you're in here. Oh my god, Tylen Smith. What are we doing to... Oh my god, what the fuck? How have we saved that? Would you take an FA Cup or getting promoted and coming straight back down? Right now, I would take the FA Cup. We're not ready for the Premier League. We're so not ready. You know, until I see something and we have a squad that I can see is capable of getting built better in the Premier League, then cool. But we're not ready for the Premier League. I would take the FA Cup over the Premier League right now. Addison looks good in defence, but going forward looks a bit suspect. I think Alone would do some of the youngsters great. You know, I think unless they've been proven and shown, like the one defender I would say that's done really well on loan is Akadinelli. You know, actually tell a lie, not just Akadinelli. I would say is it Friel has done well. We should have buried this game. Oh my god. Robert says, Amir, do you have an opinion on the game rather than a personal attack? Fuck's sake, calm down, everyone, calm down. The FA Cup isn't our first trophy. We've won the League Cup, we've won the Championship, we've won was it the First Division? Penalty! Oh my god, Tylen Smith has given away a penalty yet again. I want to see this replay. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. I want to see this. That's not a penalty! Is he pointing out a penalty for that? It's a free kick. That's a free kick. That was out of the box. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That was a free kick. It's a foul for sure. But that's no penalty. It's a free kick. That was outside the box. Oh my god. I swear to god. This is what I've been saying about the EFL reffing. It's so bad. It is so bad. Oh my god. How have you not seen that? Are you blind? How? Oh my god. Do you know what? I'm gonna go so mad at the EFL with this reffing. How can you say that's right? It's a free kick. It's definitely a foul. How was that a penalty? Oh my god, Joe Walsh, you best save this. Oh my god, you best save this. You're shit. You're shit. Referee is shit. What the fuck? Am I actually seeing this right now? That's just, oh my god. The refereeing in this league is so bad. It's so bad. I've been saying it all season. How are you giving it a penalty? Oh my god. Can anyone see this? Can anyone actually see it? Oh my god. Oh my god. We've been cheated. The guy's a Swansea fan. It's that simple. The guy's a Swansea fan. I'm sorry. Listen, look, we don't deserve to win this today. I agree with that. But that is, oh my god. Robert, please, please, back me up, Robert, please. Someone back me up. Please, someone back me up. Oh my god, this is just, oh, wow. I'm so, it's just so bad. It's so bad. Is it Chelsea referee? No doubtly, 100%. We deserve a pen after the shamble at referees. Oh my, it's so bad. It's a free kick to Swansea now. Oh my god. Don't worry, it's the end of the season. I'm not worried about the result. I'm not worried about if we lose. But I am worried, the fact being, if referees are given that as a fucking penalty. That is not acceptable. Bruv, how are you giving that a penalty? That's got to be, I'm sorry, but it's got to be on the news tomorrow, that has. So everyone, take a picture and put that on Twitter. Robert says, unfortunately, it's the same for all clubs. It's a shout. I get that the refereeing is bad, man. Look, I'm not saying it's just us. Look, Tyler Smith has done the worst challenge, pretty much same as when he came on before, but yeah. That was very clearly outside the area. Exactly. How the hell did the ref give that? We should be complaining on. No one even complained. I don't understand why we didn't complain. It's confusing. I don't get it. It's bad. It's so bad. Like, I'm not saying we deserve anything out of this game, but Jesus Christ, man. I've seen better fucking refereeing on a Sunday league, man. Fucking hell. Linesman is a shithole. Look, this is why we need fucking VAR. You know, people can slag off VAR, but at the end of the day, it does help. With decisions like that, it's fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry, but I am going to go on a full run on Twitter about that. I don't usually, but I fucking need to. That is... I've been saying about the referees in the EFL all season, and I'm probably going to get banned. I'm not going to lie. They probably attack me saying, oh yes, you've been complaining about this and that. Fuck off, man, honestly. Vale shoots, all good save by Swansea. It's so bad, man. Even Swansea fans know it's not. Look, it's definitely a free kick. And Swansea have definitely been the better team tonight. I can say that. But seriously, fucking hell, man. Anyway, if you like the stream, hit the like button. It does help the channel push out. It's a corner anyway. Oh, it's cleared away by Swansea. Fucking hell. What a comedian right now. I don't know what's going on. Look, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't think we're allowed it, to be honest. It's all about budget and money. So yeah. It's so bad, man. Go on, Madsen. Go on. Oh, nearly. Corner. I'm surprised he didn't give a goal kick for that. And maybe probably a 20-something living at home with it off. Right. Come on, calm down, people. Calm down. Relax. Chill out. Chill out and chat. Chill out. Relax. Come on, someone. What are we doing, Edwards? Run for the ball. Don't just stand there. Oh, it's 5 minutes to go. And, yeah. The result that I actually said it's gone the opposite way. Yeah, I'm not saying nothing. I'm really just disappointed with the refereeing tonight. Even the stadium is empty. The stadium has gone even more empty. What unveil? Out wide to Chair. Come on. Madsen encouraging the team to push on. Chair. Into the middle to Vale. But oh man, what is going on? Tyler Smith. Into the middle to Smith. Oh my god, Paul Smith, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're hoofing over the bar. We're literally hoofing over the bar now. Jeez. Oh man, well, it's been a good good week, I guess. Right. Joe Walsh on the ball. He should have done better. He should have done, Paul. He should have. To be honest, it's on the way it was. It's kind of hard as well at the same time. But listen, look, at the end of the day, we've been really appalling today. To be honest, Adamson on the ball. Coventry are winning 4-1. They're just trying to take the piss now. They could literally just play youngsters at the moment. Madsen. More mad at the decision than he actually result itself. What a terrible decision. Mate, to be honest, I'm not really fussed about the result right now. I'm more cared about why the fuck it is 2-0. You know, it shouldn't be 2-0. It should still be 1-0 right now. But look, we've gifted that goal to Swansea. Well, the referee's gifted it to Swansea. Maybe match fixing? I don't know. Paul Smith. Oh my god. Elias Share. Madsen, Chair. Good play here. Good play, Madsen on the ball. Good play. Kieran Morgan crosses it in. What are these two idiots doing right now? Coney and Paul Smith. I don't understand what you're saying. We are playing better in the last 5 minutes, Robert says. AB, I'm just going to turn the Leicester game on so I can see that. Are they gonna get relegated? They get relegated tonight, innit? Shit, Leicester relegated. Damn, I never thought I would know that. Paul says, why do we start playing better when we start losing something? Look, I'll be honest, even when we go up 1-0 sometimes, we take the piss. We sit back too much. This is pretty much sums up our season, really. Sums up our season. Just full of shit defending, full of stupid mistakes at the back and stupid fucking refereeing decisions. This sums it up. Sums it up. Good. The end of the season now. I'm not gonna go on Killer Beat and say get rid of him or whatever, because at the end of the fucking day, I just want to see what we do next season. Seed says Sato might be off to Belgium. Have you heard something? Has there been some interesting developments? Robert says good. For fuck's sake, Robert, chill out, man, chill out. Alright. Ronnie Edwards on the ball. Kieran Morgan. Adamson. Oh! Paul Smith! 2-1. Oh no! No way, it's Davis that's just come in and scored a goal. Davis has got the goal. No way, Davis got the goal. Davis got the rebound. 2-1. Oh my god. Paul Smith got the shot. It was a good save. And Davis gets the header on the rebound off the bar. 2-1. 2-1 QPR. 2-1 Port Swansea, I should say. Oh, I didn't even change. No one reminded me to change the bloody result. Alright, let's see what we can do. That should be 1-1. Maybe it could get to 2-2. AB's laughing. How the fuck is Davis scored? At least we scored. I guess so. At least we scored, but they're going to waste time now. I don't know how many minutes I added time. Shouldn't be much. Four minutes at a time. Vale. Oh, it's a bad ball. He's been linked with Belgium. Is there a reason why he's been linked with Belgium? What's the point of bringing a player in for 4 million or 3 million and then decide to let him go? It's ridiculous. Tylon Smith corner goal. I wish. Kieran Morgan, Adamson. It's gonna be a throw into QPR. Can we get a draw? Madsen, Kieran Morgan, Adamson. Alright, we've done well to get it out. Tylon Smith on the ball into the middle to Ronnie Edwards. Out wide to Kieran Morgan. Kieran Morgan, what's he going to do with it? He fucks it up like he has been doing. Look, at this point, I'm generally going to say this, and Robert's probably going to get annoyed with me. It's times like that where I get pissed off because we talk so much shit about Kone, and a good delivery to the box from Kieran Morgan there, Kone might have gone the end to it. You never know. He was calling for it. He was waiting for it. Oh, what is going on? Referee, what are we doing? Who's getting a yellow card? What's happened here? Seed. Tyron Smith, I'll be honest, he's had a bit of a falling off, to be honest. He's not done really well. So yeah, he obviously fouled the guy, but it should have been a free kick, not a penalty. Who's getting yellow carded? Julian's telling the ref to hurry up. So what's happened here? Let's have a look. Oh, it's Davis getting involved. Davis having a scuffle with a player. Jeez. We've lost the ball, gone long. I agree, Morgan has made some poor choices. See, Robert's starting to see it now. Robert's starting to see it a lot. I got a lot of grief for calling out Morgan a lot, you know, but he hasn't been the best what we've usually seen. And I'm not saying he's shit. I'm just saying he hasn't been the best. I'm very surprised to see Davis score though. It was 4 minutes, 1 minute left. Look, I'm glad we scored a goal. That's the main thing. And coming from Davis, cool. But you know, this game has been a bit of a letdown tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. With Sky games and midweek games usually are horrible for us anyway. All right, Ronnie Edwards playing it back to Joe Walsh. Hang on. Oh, Kone's laid it off here. Is that a free kick? No. Hopefully we sign Jordan James even alone. I see. I don't know where that link's come from. I've not heard anything about Jordan James. It's been so quiet my end. I like Jordan James though. I think Jordan James is a great midfielder, but I think his wages are way too high for us. Oh, come on, ward up. I don't hate him. Look, I've said this constantly. I don't hate Morgan. Right. I've said this many times, right? I don't hate Morgan, right? but I'm going to call out a player if they're not playing great. And Kieran Morgan has given the ball away so many times this season. I don't hate him. I think he's a great young talent, and I think he's going to do well at QPR. But I just don't see his performance this season has been the same as last season. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. I don't hate Morgan. I know I go on about him so much, but that's because I really want him to do well. And that's just why. I have a positive things to say to him, but he has to show it on the pitch, you know? I think he's a cracking young talent, though. I think a lot of people need a loan, to be honest. In this team, I'll be honest. A lot of young players need to go out and loan. That's full time anyway. QPR lose 2-1. The players don't look happy whatsoever. The players are looking really distraught. They do. They look really pissed off, to be honest. I don't think it was a penalty. Like I said, I'm a bit confused why he's given a penalty for that. That's got to be looked into by the EFL for sure. If they don't, fucked a lot of them. They can go suck out. Sorry to say it. I might get cancelled for that. I apologise. But yeah, I'll read the comments in a second. All I'll say is this. End of the season pretty much now. And I'm not going to go on and start doing a hate talk or whatever. Look, I'm going to wait till see what happens next season. Look, we've done a lot better than we have last season. The players don't look happy whatsoever. But we lose today against Swansea at home 2-1. Should be 1-1. Steve Cook leaving QPR's last home game pretty much on a bad note, I guess, if I can say that. But yeah, we'll do our match reaction tomorrow about this, and we go from there. Let's have a look at the comments. Cobb 5-1 up. Kieran says, this is why I don't like Kone offside. Robert said he need a loan. AB. Seed says Benny needs a loan. I agree. Robert says you can't say Kone has been any better. I haven't said Kone's been any better today. I've stayed quiet about it because, yeah. Morgan is shit. Ryan says, dude, you hate him. I don't hate him. I don't look. If I'm gonna be honest about players, right? If I say a player has not been playing great, I will admit it. Kieran Morgan has scored 2 cracking goals this season. That is all. He hasn't. I would say the best games that I've seen him play was when we played against Sheffield Wednesday, and was it Sheffield Wednesday? No, it wasn't Sheffield Wednesday. It was Portsmouth. He had a really good game, and Leicester away he had a good game. So those are the 2 games I think he did great. But I don't hate him. I really want him to do well, but I'm only going to be honest about what I see when I watch these games. I've watched every game this season. Remember that. I'm not looking at highlights of him doing a good pass. I'm literally watching him each game, and I'm going from there. Robert's doing the same thing. He's probably watching each game. Same as some others. I don't hate him. I really think he's a good young talent. I want him to succeed, but this season he's not been that great for me. It wasn't a pen. I agree. H Football says never a pen. See, is the stadium was empty completely today. Nothing really there. That ref should be stuck off that. I'm gonna have a really rant about it once I'm ready. So yeah, I know you're trolling Ward Up. I know you're trolling me. I'm not gonna get involved in it because I love Kieran Morgan. I really do. I think he's great. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Cheers to Stream DB. Shouldn't have been 2-1. Feel bad for Tylon. Got a pen given that weren't, but we deserve to lose. See you on Saturday for Derby. Nice, Paul. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, don't forget to hit the like button. Our target today was 20 to 30. We've hit 14 at the moment. If before you leave, you can hit the like button. It helps a lot the channel. Much love for that. Leave Morgan alone, you hate. Robert says, as do I, and I don't see anything in Kone. He's going on about Kone. AV says, Leicester down. Jesus Christ. Morgan is quite good on the ball with his passing, but his position and tackling has to improve. Seed says, let's face it, they are all shit. Word up. Jesus Christ, that is very strong. Cheers to the stream. DBAV says, no worries, mate. Hopefully you have a good evening. Hopefully you all enjoy the rest of the evening. Bedtime pretty much. Cheers, Wham. We'll be back obviously tomorrow with our match reaction, and then we'll be with our last home game on Saturday stream against Derby. we'll have probably a recap soon about our season, and we'll go from there. Really, our last game of the season is Ipswich away. Not long to go. And some exciting things coming up. So hopefully you all enjoy and stay tuned and subscribe to the channel if you really enjoy EFL content, football for QPR, and so on from there. But we have some interesting stuff hopefully planned for the future. But apart from that, tonight, everyone, cheers for tuning in. And yeah, we'll go leave it from there. Apart from that, peace, love, positivity. We'll catch you tomorrow. And have a good evening, people.